Hi, welcome back to Legal Noggin. My name is Jeremy Donham, and we often talk to individuals about legal issues that they're confronting in the workplace primarily, and other legal issues that people might confront from time to time and need some suggestions and some thoughts about how that they can try to work through these issues that they're confronting. One of the issues that we wanted to talk to you about today is something called pregnancy discrimination. This is a very serious issue, and we see this quite often in our law practice. Individuals will call and they'll say, Jeremy, I'm trying to get Family Medical Leave Act or Family Medical Leave because I found out that I'm expecting a child and I'm not able to obtain the time off that I need for the leave. Well, that could be a problem, and it might be a violation of not only the Family Medical Leave Act, but it might be a violation of the pregnancy discrimination laws in our federal government and in our state government, the federal and state laws, I should say. And so it's important to remember, if you are expecting a child, there are protections for you and your job and your pay. If you find yourself in a situation where they're trying to cut your pay or cut your hours, then you need to communicate with a lawyer that manages and works through these types of cases, specializes in these types of cases. Donham Law handles these types of cases in Pennsylvania and West Virginia. But you need to find an attorney and work with that attorney to work through this issue, because it's important that your employer be held accountable if they're trying to do something to harm you. People will say, well, Jeremy, what if I am trying to get pregnant and we're going through in vitro fertilization, for example? Is that covered too? Yes, that's covered under the Pregnancy Discrimination Act. If there are things that you're struggling with, for example, hostile work environment. I get calls a lot of times from women that are saying to me, I tried to take off work to go to some appointments, and when I came back, they immediately started writing me up or disciplining me for bogus things. Well, that happens all the time, because what's happening sometimes in the back of the mind of a supervisor is, hey, is this person going to need time off work? And more time now that the baby's coming on, maybe we need to figure out a way to get rid of them. You can't imagine some of the things we see even in emails that employers will put out where they've been talking to one another saying, we've got to get rid of Miss Smith because she's pregnant. It really does happen, and it's sad. It's a very sad discourse in our world today. But I just wanted to bring this to your attention because it's really important to know that you do have rights. You have rights in the workplace. You have rights if you've been fired and you were expecting a child and it was related to something that has to do with your pregnancy. Now, if you say, well, Jeremy, I smacked my supervisor and he got upset with me and he fired me, well, that's not going to be covered. You're not going to be able to fall back on the Pregnancy Act. You can't say, well, I had someone say they threw a mop at the back of the head of one of their supervisors one time. You're not going to be covered in that situation. But if you are finding yourself in a situation where you've done nothing wrong and your employer is retaliating against you or creating a hostile work environment, then you need to know that you have rights under the Pregnancy Discrimination Act. That's the federal law. And then there are particular laws that cover you in the jurisdiction where you live, most likely. So look into those laws as well. In West Virginia, you can go straight to court within 2 years, I should say, of discrimination of this type. So it's important to remember that. There's also an intersection sometimes with the Americans with Disabilities Act if an individual's expecting a child and they're also having complications. Some of that can apply. There are other matters like we talked about, Family Medical Leave Act, that may apply. So it's important to remember these things. Don't let your employer fool you. Don't let your supervisor fool you. You do have rights. You can look out for yourself. And if you're running into a situation like this, feel free to contact the number that you see below. We'll be glad to see if we can do anything to help you, at least give you information, point you in the right direction. Well, that's all we have today for Legal Noggin, but thanks for checking in. We'll look forward to seeing you the next time here at Legal Noggin.